Morning again, brethren. Some of you will know that some years ago I used to do marathons and run a couple of marathons every year. Marathons are 26.2 miles, and one of the things about running that distance is that throughout the time that you're running, there will come into your mind temptations to give up, usually round about the 14-mile mark, the 18-mile mark, and then from 22 miles right to the end, you're always thinking, oh, I'm going to give up, I'm going to pack this in, I'm going to stop. Our verse this morning encourages us to keep going in the Christian race. It's taken, of course, from the book of Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. Let us run with perseverance the race set before us, looking unto Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. The Christian life is not, as someone once said, a 100-metre sprint. It is a long, grueling marathon, something that requires and demands perseverance, stickability, not giving in even when the going gets really, really tough. And so the writer of the Hebrews says to these Christians, let us run with perseverance, with patience. It means endurance, stickability. Let us keep on going like a runner in a race. He's depicting life as something that God has marked out for us. There's a beginning and there's an end. And we have to keep going until we reach the end. We're not to, as it were, abandon ship halfway through the journey. We're to keep on going. There have been times, of course, when athletes competing in the likes of the Olympic marathon have dropped out. I remember watching Paula Radcliffe having to do that several years ago. And it's a terrible thing to pull out of the event in which you're involved. Well, of course, the Christian life is a much more important event. You have to keep going to the end. And those who are truly saved do keep going, but they need encouragement. And here the apostle encourages, and he says, let us run with perseverance the race that is set before us. And one of the things about running such a long distance as a marathon is there'll be times when the running is easy and you're making good pace, and there'll be times when you have to slow down and you have to slog on, and it's just a case of trying to get one foot in front of the other. And perhaps having got over that difficult bit, you pick up again. A Christian life's like that. There's times when it's relatively easy to keep going. There's times when it's particularly difficult to keep going, simply because of what's going on in our lives. But we have to keep going in the midst of all of those things. And how do we do that? Well, the writer of the Hebrews encourages us by looking unto Jesus. He is our example and he is our motivation. He did not give up. He kept going right to the end. He knew the joy that was set before him, the joy of securing salvation for all those that the Father had given to him, the joy of overcoming the last great enemy, death, the joy of returning again after his resurrection to glory, to be with his Father once again until the times are fulfilled that he will return and consummate his kingdom. And knowing that all of that was before him, he kept on going, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. He's completed his race. And he is our example. He is the one we are to follow. We're to keep going despite difficulties, despite hardships, despite Satan coming along and saying, throw in the towel, give this Christianity up, things will be much easier. But brethren, think about the joy that is set before us. Think about the glory that awaits us. Think about the wonderful welcome into heaven. Think about seeing our beautiful Saviour. Think about being reunited with all our loved ones who have gone before us. let us run with perseverance the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. Keep going, brethren. Don't give up no matter what.